Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Nest English, the place where English becomes simple, natural, relaxing, and part of your daily life. My name is Ali, and today we have another deep English conversation podcast for all of you. Whether you are listening while studying, relaxing at home, walking outside, traveling, drinking tea, or preparing for sleep, thank you for spending your time with us today. And honestly, today's topic is something very personal for many English learners. We are going to talk about overthinking in English.
Yes, Ollie, and I think this is one of the biggest hidden problems for English learners. Many people actually know enough English to communicate, but their mind becomes too crowded. They overthink grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, mistakes, reactions, and everything at the same time. Instead of speaking naturally, they become trapped inside their own thoughts.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is that overthinking usually happens because learners care too much about sounding perfect. They want every sentence to be correct before they even open their mouth. But real communication does not work like that. Real conversations move naturally. People pause, make mistakes, repeat words, forget words, and continue anyway.
That is true. And honestly, I think many learners confuse communication with performance. They feel like every conversation is some kind of exam. But communication is not a performance. It is simply human connection. Sometimes people understand your emotions even if your grammar is not perfect.
Yes, and overthinking creates fear. Imagine someone asking you a simple question like, "How was your day?" Instead of answering naturally, your brain suddenly starts working too hard. Should I use past tense? What if my pronunciation sounds strange? What if I forget vocabulary? And because of all that pressure, even a simple answer becomes difficult.
Exactly. And this creates hesitation. Hesitation means pausing too much because you are mentally uncertain. Many learners are not silent because they do not know English. They are silent because they are mentally overprocessing every sentence.
That is such an important point. Sometimes learners already know the answer, but fear interrupts the flow. And honestly, the brain becomes tired when it constantly tries to be perfect. Communication becomes stressful instead of natural.
Yes. And I think social media also increases this problem. Learners watch very fluent speakers online and suddenly believe they must sound exactly like them immediately. But they forget something important. Fluency is built slowly through repetition, mistakes, listening, practice, and real conversations over time.
Absolutely. And many fluent speakers today once struggled exactly the same way. They also felt nervous. They also forgot words. They also made awkward mistakes. But they continued speaking anyway. Confidence grows through experience, not through waiting.
And honestly, Ollie, I think overthinking steals something very important from learners. It steals spontaneity.
Oh, that is such a beautiful word. Spontaneity means reacting naturally without excessive mental pressure. Real conversations are spontaneous. People do not calculate every sentence like a mathematics equation.
Exactly. Imagine two friends talking at a cafe. They are not secretly analyzing grammar rules inside their head every second. They are simply expressing thoughts naturally. That natural flow is what learners slowly need to build.
And honestly, one of the best ways to reduce overthinking is simplifying your English. Many beginners try to use advanced vocabulary too early because they think simple English sounds weak. But actually, simple English sounds confident when spoken clearly.
Yes. Simple English is powerful. Imagine someone calmly saying, "I am tired today, I enjoyed the movie," or "I need more practice." These are not complicated sentences, but they are real communication. Communication does not need to sound academic to be meaningful.
Exactly. And another problem is mental translation. Many learners first think in their native language, then translate into English, then check grammar mentally, then finally speak. That process creates delay and anxiety.
Yes. And honestly, translation is one of the biggest causes of slow speaking. Beginners should slowly practice direct thinking in English instead. Even small thoughts help. For example, I am opening the door. The weather feels cold. I need coffee. These tiny thoughts train the brain to become more comfortable with English naturally.
That is such a practical technique. And the beautiful thing is that it can be practiced anywhere. At home, while walking, while cooking, while cleaning, while traveling. English slowly becomes part of your daily thinking process.
Exactly. And another important thing is accepting imperfection. Many learners become emotionally upset after one mistake. They replay it again and again inside their head.
Oh yes, that mental replay is exhausting. A learner says one awkward sentence, and suddenly their brain turns it into a huge disaster. But honestly, most people either do not notice the mistake or forget it quickly.
That is so true. Learners often imagine that everyone is judging them very harshly, but most people are simply focused on the conversation itself. Human beings are usually not analyzing every grammar mistake you make.
Exactly. And honestly, native speakers also make mistakes sometimes. Real conversations are messy. People interrupt themselves, restart sentences, use filler words, and forget expressions. Perfect communication does not really exist.
Yes. And this is why self-kindness matters during language learning. If your inner voice constantly says, "My English is terrible," or "I sound stupid," your confidence slowly becomes weaker.
Absolutely. Your inner dialogue affects your learning energy. Instead of saying, "I cannot speak English," learners should say, "I am still improving." That small mental shift changes everything emotionally.
And honestly, progress in English is often invisible at first. Sometimes learners feel stuck even while improving quietly in the background. The brain needs repetition before confidence becomes visible.
That reminds me of exercise actually. Imagine going to the gym for 1 week. You may not immediately see dramatic physical changes, but your body is slowly adapting. Language learning works similarly. Daily exposure slowly changes the brain.
Exactly. And consistency is more powerful than intensity. Listening to English 20 minutes every day often helps more than studying 6 hours once and then stopping completely.
That is such an important reminder. Small habits create long-term fluency. Listening daily, speaking daily, thinking daily, reading daily. All these tiny actions slowly build communication confidence.
And honestly, Ollie, I think many learners are afraid of awkward silence during conversations.
Yes, people panic when there is even a small pause.
Exactly. But pauses are completely natural. Even native speakers pause while thinking. Silence does not mean failure. Sometimes pauses actually make communication calmer and clearer.
That is true. Speaking slowly can actually sound more confident than speaking very fast with stress. Many learners think fluency means speed, but real fluency is comfort and clarity.
Exactly. Calm speaking feels more natural. And another important thing is listening carefully during conversations. Overthinkers often focus too much on themselves instead of listening to the other person.
That is such a powerful observation. Nervous learners constantly think, "How do I sound? What should I say next? Am I making mistakes?" But communication improves when attention moves away from fear and toward connection.
Yes. Communication is teamwork, not self-performance. When you genuinely focus on understanding the other person, conversations become less stressful.
And honestly, curiosity helps communication a lot. Curious people ask questions naturally. They become interested in people, stories, experiences, and emotions. That curiosity reduces pressure because the focus shifts away from perfection.
Exactly. Instead of trying to impress people with advanced English, learners should focus on meaningful interaction. Simple questions create beautiful conversations.
Like asking, "How was your weekend?" Or "What kind of movies do you enjoy?" These are simple questions, but they create real communication opportunities.
Yes. And repetition also matters. Many daily conversations repeat the same patterns again and again. Greetings, introductions, opinions, hobbies, weather, food, routines, these topics appear constantly in real life.
Exactly. The more learners practice these daily situations, the more automatic communication becomes. Fluency grows from thousands of small moments, not one perfect moment.
And honestly, Ollie, Another thing learners should understand is emotional pressure. Sometimes learners are not struggling with English itself. They are struggling with embarrassment.
Oh yes, fear of embarrassment is huge.
People worry about sounding childish, slow, or awkward. But honestly, embarrassment is part of learning every skill. Children learn language by making thousands of mistakes without shame.
That is such a beautiful example. Children are not afraid of sounding imperfect. They simply communicate again and again until fluency develops naturally.
Exactly. Adults often become too self-conscious. They want immediate perfection. But language learning requires patience and emotional flexibility.
And honestly, one of the healthiest things learners can do is normalize mistakes. Mistakes are not proof of failure. Mistakes are evidence of practice.
Yes. If you never make mistakes, you are probably avoiding communication completely. Growth happens through imperfect action.
That reminds me of my own experience actually. I remember having conversations where I forgot simple vocabulary. Sometimes I mixed tenses. Sometimes pronunciation felt awkward. But every conversation still taught me something useful.
Exactly. Experience creates familiarity. And familiarity slowly removes fear. The more situations you survive, the less scary they become.
Yes, confidence is often just repeated survival of uncomfortable situations.
That is such a powerful sentence.
And honestly, another important thing is energy. Learners should protect their motivation emotionally. If English only feels stressful, eventually the brain starts avoiding it.
That is true. English should sometimes feel enjoyable too. Watch interesting videos, listen to relaxing podcasts, read stories, sing songs, or talk about topics you genuinely enjoy.
Exactly. Language grows faster when emotions are involved. If English becomes connected with curiosity, comfort, humor, or inspiration, the brain remembers it more naturally.
And honestly, I think learners should celebrate small victories more often.
Absolutely. Understanding one new phrase is progress. Speaking one sentence confidently is progress. Watching one English video without subtitles is progress.
Yes. Small victories build momentum. And momentum builds confidence.
And honestly, comparison destroys motivation for many learners. Social media makes people believe everyone else is fluent except them.
That is very true. But learners do not see the years of practice behind fluency. They only see the final result. Comparing your beginning to someone else's advanced stage is emotionally unfair.
Exactly. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to your past self. Ask, am I improving little by little? That is what really matters.
And honestly, improvement is rarely perfectly straight. Some days feel amazing. Some days feel frustrating. Emotional ups and downs are normal during language learning.
Yes, learners should not panic during difficult days. Progress continues even when confidence temporarily feels low.
Exactly. And another important thing is breathing. Nervous learners often physically tense their body during conversations.
That is true. The body becomes stiff.
Yes. But slow breathing can calm the nervous system. Before speaking, learners should pause, breathe slowly, relax their shoulders, and speak calmly.
That actually changes communication energy a lot. Calm breathing creates calmer speaking.
Exactly. And body language also matters. Eye contact, posture, smiling, and relaxed movement all affect communication confidence.
Yes, communication is not only vocabulary and grammar. Human connection also comes through tone, energy, and body language.
And honestly, kindness makes communication more beautiful too. People remember warmth more than perfect grammar.
That is such a beautiful truth. A kind learner with simple English often communicates better than someone using advanced vocabulary without warmth.
Exactly. Human energy matters deeply in conversation.
And honestly, overthinking usually disappears slowly through experience. You cannot think your way out of overthinking completely. At some point, you must practice despite discomfort.
Yes. Action breaks mental fear. Waiting forever to feel ready usually keeps people trapped.
Exactly. Confidence grows after action, not before action.
And honestly, one powerful habit is speaking English imperfectly on purpose sometimes.
That sounds interesting. Explain that.
Many learners wait too long trying to create perfect sentences. But sometimes it helps to simply speak naturally without overchecking everything mentally. That relaxed practice trains spontaneity.
Oh yes, because communication is movement. If you constantly stop yourself mentally, flow disappears.
Exactly. Overthinkers often need permission to be imperfect.
That is such an important sentence. Permission to be imperfect.
Because perfectionism creates emotional paralysis. Learners become so afraid of mistakes that they stop communicating completely.
And silence never builds fluency.
Exactly. Communication skills grow through communication itself.
And honestly, I think many learners underestimate courage. Speaking another language requires courage emotionally.
Yes. Especially in real conversations. It can feel vulnerable. But vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is part of growth.
Absolutely. Every fluent speaker was once uncomfortable too.
And every confident speaker once had nervous conversations.
Exactly. Nobody begins fluent.
And honestly, learners should remember something very important. Your accent is not your enemy.
Oh yes, that topic is deeply emotional for many people.
Many learners feel ashamed of their accent, but having an accent simply means you learned another language. That is something impressive, not embarrassing.
Exactly. Clarity matters more than sounding identical to native speakers.
Yes. Communication is about understanding, not perfection.
And honestly, one day learners suddenly realize something beautiful.
What is that?
They realize English no longer feels like a school subject. It starts feeling like part of life.
That is such a beautiful stage of learning.
Yes, and it happens slowly through repetition, patience, listening, mistakes, conversations, and emotional persistence.
Exactly. Fluency is not one magical moment. It is gradual familiarity.
And before we finish today's episode, I want to remind everyone listening right now. Please stop waiting for perfect English before you start speaking. Start with the English you already know.
Yes. Use simple sentences. Speak slowly. Make mistakes. Continue anyway.
Because communication confidence is not built inside your imagination.
It is built through real conversations, real experiences, and real practice.
Thank you so much everyone for spending time with us today on Fluent Nest English.
We truly hope this conversation helped you feel calmer, more motivated, and less afraid of speaking English naturally.
Take care of yourself, keep practicing step by step, and remember that improvement is happening even when progress feels slow.
And we will see you again very soon in the next episode of Fluent Nest English. Bye everyone.